semester, I had the opportunity to observe a boy named Ezra. He is 8 years old, in the second grade, and wears bilateral cochlear implants. He is completely oral and does not use sign language. And he is also fully mainstreamed. He comes from a hearing family and plays on a hearing baseball team. From what I could tell in my assessments, he was right on target, if maybe just a little bit behind grade level. He was actually above grade level in a couple of areas, which I felt was very encouraging. He mainly struggles with very auditory things like rhyming, and he requires a little bit of help when it comes to past tense verbs. He is very hardworking and very focused and ready to do whatever you ask of him. The first assessment done was the language sample analysis, which was taken during a tutoring session discussion. He averaged 3.7 words a sentence and had an MLU of 4, 88 morphemes divided by 22 utterances, which put him at level 5 of Brown's language development. 19 out of 23 sentences were simple sentences and were mainly one-word answers and only 2 compound sentences. He only had 2 multi-morpheme words and only 7 multi-syllable words. The sentences were fragmented, but definitely got his message across effectively though his language was a bit dry and lacked description. I wanted to work with him on expanding his words by integrating more complex reading passages and presenting words that he had learned in a place that he could easily refer to them. I also thought that prompted narrative, such as asking him to describe a pet or a baseball game, would really help with his descriptive language. I think a good way to work on his tenses is where he would be given a word and he must put it in the category of either past tense, present tense, or that the word could work for both. The next assessment was the basic reading inventory. We started out with the word list, which he did very well in, getting up to grade 3 before he started to miss words. He kept a good pace the first 2 lists, but when it got to grade 3, he started slowing down and started really having to sound out the words. He kept a slower pace when it came to the passages as well. He actually had the most trouble when it came to the comprehension part of the assessment, missing mainly fact-based questions. However, he did much better when it came to being able to simply listen to the story and then answer the questions. Again, reaching grade 3 before starting to struggle. This is likely due to him getting too focused on reading each word correctly and that he didn't take the time to really look at the whole story and forgot many of the facts. He only had 4 miscues through all of his passages and only 1 that really altered the meaning of the sentence. He corrected himself on 2 out of 4 miscues, which I think is encouraging that he can recognize and correct his mistakes so easily. I wanted to increase his reading fluency by simply encouraging more reading out loud and to get him more comfortable with it. I think that having him discuss each story he reads out loud and introducing storyboards will start to really increase his comprehension and help him really see the whole story. Substitutions were his main miscue, and I think this can be targeted by stopping him during reading if a substitution is noticed and seeing if he can correct it himself, or reading to him and purposely inserting a substitution and letting him correct it. Then we went on to do the developmental spelling inventory. He was quick with immediate and correct answers, though through most of the assessment. Eventually, he missed throat, which is the last one on the second set, and then missed the next three in the third set. So we stopped. As soon as it was done, he pointed out which ones he had gotten incorrect, again, easily seeing his mistakes. I rated him as being early syllable and affixes, and he seemed to have the most trouble with the other vowel sounds. I'd like to really strengthen that by using a word sort that focuses on words using those kind of different vowel sounds. I'd also like to strengthen his spelling in general by games like the Hangman game, or crossword puzzles, or flashcards where a word is missing some letters and he has to figure which ones those are. The final assessment was the written language sample analysis. Through the month of October, he worked on a book about baseball. In all, it contained 22 sentences. Again, mainly simple. He averaged 10.5 words a sentence and had an MLU of 8. While he had some surprising spelling mistakes like Y-O-R for your, Y-O-U-R, he successfully incorporated concepts like abbreviating the bases. While most of his words were single morphemes, the compound words that he did use were largely related to the sport and obviously ones that he was familiar with. Again, his language was very dry and kind of lacked description. I want to encourage the use of multi-morpheme words through a game in which he is given a simple word and then must find a morpheme to add to it. Or kind of reverse it and give him a morpheme or suffix like ed or ing, and getting him to pair it with a word that makes sense in a context. I also want to expand his sentences by creating a different game where he's given the beginning of a sentence, such as, Johnny ran down the hill, and suddenly, and then he has to complete it. Overall, Ezra was a joy to work with. He is sweet and funny and playful, and I really did learn a lot from him. He's also bright and intelligent, and while there are some areas he needs to work on, I don't doubt that he will be able to master them in no time at all.